ask that you keep your group together, keep up with the party in front of you, and fill in all the available space. It is not necessary to form a single file line. If you are traveling with a stroller, please have children and valuables unloaded before you reach our stroller parking area. If you are traveling with someone in a scooter or wheelchair, please have this person lead your party through the line. This will help keep your wait time to a minimum. Once again, please keep your... Jumbo, everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari.
Thank you so much, Myra. All right, folks, we're going to give us the all clear. You know what that means. It's Monday. Let's go. All right, can everyone hear me okay back there? Amazing. Well, hello, everyone. Or as we say here in Harambe, Jamba. My name's Tage. It's just like you turn the page of a book, but instead of a P, you have a steaming cup of tea. Now, do me a favor. Throughout our ride today, just remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times. And remember, you are not Rafiki. Your kid is not Simba. So please don't hold them up like we're in the Lion King. Now, we are in a real truck today, seeing some real animals, and it can get real bumpy. So just make sure you're holding on to all your personal items like phones or cameras very tightly. If you do happen to drop something during your trip today, simply raise your hand. I'll raise mine too, and we can wave goodbye to it together. Alright, we're entering our first ecosystem. This is the area of Little Ituri Forest.
Wow. Really cool ground.
Animals in this habitat have natural markings and colors that'll then blend in with their backgrounds, so that predators don't have such an easy time spotting them. One such animal's on our right there. That is an okapi. Until about 1901, the Western world didn't even know that the okapi was a real animal. Instead, people believed it was some kind of mythological beast that was half horse and half zebra because of the black and white stripes that it has in the back of its legs. But nowadays, we know the okapi is very real, as you can see. That's why I still have hope we'll one day find a unicorn. And instead of being related to a horse or a zebra, we know the okapi is actually related to a giraffe. We found that out by comparing the two skeletal structures in their heads.
Right there!
On the left, you'll see a black rhino. On the right, that stork is called a saddle-billed stork. Just behind it, this animal with the horns is a bongo. We're seeing every animal at once. Wow. They're having a party.
That's a duck!
Alright. So here's that black rhino there on the left. You can see how it kind of blends in with the background. Those rocks behind us. Then here's a closer view of that bongo on the right there. The animal, not the instrument. And that saddle-billed stork back there. So the black rhino can weigh up to about 3,000 pounds and charge its speeds up to 35 miles an hour. Oh, there on the right as well. You'll see that animal kind of looks like a deer. There's another one coming up, or a couple more coming up on our right. These are called the greater kudu. So the greater kudu and the bongo, they're actually relatives as well. They're both types of antelope. Bongos are nicknamed the ghost of the forest. And that's because they use their long horns to get through thick and tangled underbrush quickly and quietly. It's pretty rare to see them, actually. The greater kudu is one of the tallest antelope in all of Africa. Just under 5 feet tall. Or if you want to be specific, 55 inches at the shoulder. And the saddle-billed stork, it gets its name from the yellow saddle-shaped shield that it has on its beak. Instead of squawking like most birds do, the saddle-billed stork actually just rattle their bills at one another. Those lovebirds also mate for life. Lucky them. Alright, we're now coming up into our second ecosystem today. This is the area of the Sapi River. Animals in this habitat are similar to the ones in the forest, where they like to blend in with their surroundings and hide from predators. But they do it a little bit differently. These aquatic animals actually prefer to stay above, below, and beyond the water. On the left there, you'll see a Nile hippo halfway through the water. white-backed pelicans. They get that name because during mating season, their feathers turn away from that white we're seeing right now and actually turn pink. They're also colonial nesters. That means that they create homes with groups of birds that can range from 20 to 500.
What is their
That's
white
why there's
thing?
so many birds on this part of the reserve. They're all part of the same big happy family. Instead of swimming, hippos like to just sink to the very bottom of the water. They can just walk or run across. And it's not too hard for an adult hippo to sink down like that because it can weigh up to about 5,500 pounds. There on the left, let's see baby red.
There's a baby hippo. Oh, there's a baby hippo. Oh my God, there's another hippo behind right there. Baby hippo. And that one is like a dad or a mom.
It's actually when they swim under the water together, it kind of looks like they just have her mom has an extra arm. As we cross this bridge, friends, I recommend you.
Alligators! That's an alligator! That's an alligator! I've never seen an alligator!
So those were the Nile crocodiles. They're actually the largest of the crocodilian species, weighing up to about 500 pounds and growing up to 16 feet long. So if you were able to somehow take one of those Nile crocodile and kind of prop it up vertically, it would be the same height as an adult giraffe. The force of a crocodile's bite is about equal to 2 tons. But don't worry, they prefer seafood. In the meantime,
What's
if you come
over
across
there?
these scaly-looking animals, you want to know what kind of animal it is? All you have to do is say goodbye to it. If it says see you later, it's an alligator. Going from Florida. If it says see you in a while, you find yourself a Nile crocodile. For now, though, the only thing we need to say goodbye to is that first ecosystem, the Little Ituri Forest, and sayonara to the second ecosystem, the area of the Safi River. Because you and I have now entered our third ecosystem today. Welcome to the savannah.
Wow!
Personally, I think the savannah is the coolest part of the reserve. It's home to Africa's most iconic animals, like lions. It also includes these Ankole cattle you can see on the right here. Now, those Ankole cattle are the only domesticated animals that we have on the reserve. They're also known as the Watusi cattle after the people that first named them, the Watusi people. So those Ankole cattle, you saw those really big horns that they have. They're about 5 to 6 feet long. While they may look really heavy to hold up, they're actually very light. Their horns are made of a honeycomb structure, which allows air to constantly be circulating through them. So their horns kind of work like their own personal AC system. These grayish animals you're going to see on your right here are called wildebeest. And on the left there is a spotted hyena laying down. In a second we'll get a better view of it. There you can see it on the left. It's just laying down. And there's also one inside the cave.
He's taking a nap.
Oh, that one is taking a nappy.
So you probably know hyenas for their unique calls. It can sound like a cackle or a giggle. But what you
That's
might
a
not know is
bird!
hyenas live in a matriarchal society. So that means that within a pack, the lowest ranking female still has more power than the highest ranking male hyena. We're passing some termite mounds on either side of us. These are actually created when dirt, mud, and animal dung become hardened under the African sun to become as strong as concrete.
What's that? That looks like a camel.
This really small animal coming up to us on our right here,
That looks like
its coat kind of looks like a s'more. That is called the springbok. That antelope may be small, but it is mighty. It gets its name from an action it does called pronking. That's when it springs 6 feet up into the air and 13 feet ahead of themselves at the same time when they need to get somewhere quickly. That's also the reason that Springbok are the mascots for a lot of the sports teams that we have. Now here's more of these wildebeest on our right. A group of wildebeest is known as an implausibility. That's because those animals have some chaotic energy. In the language Afrikaans, wildebeest directly translates to wild beasts, but they're also known as the nu-nu after the noises that they make to communicate with one another. And wildebeest are migrating animals. They go all around the world together. Wildebeest have even been known to migrate in groups so large, they've been spotted all the way from outer space. Here's an Ankoli cattle and a wildebeest on the right. They're getting ready for their Thanksgiving dinner.
Don't look. I can see the Oh my! Huge cow.
Now coming up right ahead of us, we're going to start seeing the tower or group of giraffes.
Oh my God!
These are Maasai giraffe, and we know that because once you look at their coats, you'll see that their spots kind of look like someone took a crayon and colored outside of the lines. There's a whole tower of them on the left.
Oh, giraffe! That's a baby giraffe!
There is a baby giraffe. His name's Humphrey. That smallest one there on the left.
Como no tan chiquitica porque mira donde estaba caminando la otra está por ahí.
Yeah. They're waiting for the go in.
Now giraffes are the tallest land animals in the world, getting up to about 16 to 20 feet tall in adulthood. But as you saw, they even start off big. Baby Humphrey was more giant trees on either side of us. They're called baobab trees. They're nicknamed the upside down tree because it kind of looks like their roots are at the top instead of the bottom. And they're on the left, you'll see the African elephants.
There's a tiny little elephant over there, I think.
You sure do know your animals.
I want to make them like
A
like
group
the
of elephants is called a herd. We know those are African elephants because their ears are shaped like the continent of Africa. When they flap those ears back and forth, they're not trying to
no,
fly like some of
water!
the elephants that I know.
That's
They're actually just
water!
cooling their bodies off by about 40 degrees
There's
Fahrenheit.
water coming!
There's about 40,000 muscles within the trunk of an elephant. That's more than the entire human body. Elephants can use their trunks to pretty much do anything.
We need the water.
Throw some water in their back if they're feeling hot. Even cuddle their loved ones. Well, there's another baobab tree on our left there. It's a really big one. You'll see baobab trees all throughout the savannah. In the very center of the animal kingdom, that giant tree of life you probably passed on your way here, that's a baobab tree as well. Just looks a little bit
Flamingos!
different.
There's a baby one right there!
Now I hope everyone brought their swimsuits. We're taking a short vacation to Flamingo Island. A group of flamingos called the flamboyants. These are all greater flamingo. The truth that they are the largest and the lightest shade of pink of all species of flamingo.
Flamingo!
When they're born, though, they are gray. It takes about 1.5 to 2 years for them to live in the water.
Mango!
They eat seafood that's filled with something called keratin, like the brine shrimp, for their feathers to turn that shade.
Flamingo!
Another cool fact about this area is that Flamingo Island is actually hidden Mickey. So if you check out the land, you'll be able to see Mickey's head, as iconic as it is.
What is she doing?
As a member of the animal programs team, so they're kind of like the best friends to all the animals on the reserve. They're dedicated to keeping the habitats clean, ecosystems healthy, and the animals happy. So she's probably just keeping that clean right now and maybe feeding them.
No, not the baby.
But yeah, they're kind of like, we owe everything to the animal programs team. We couldn't do any of the stuff that we do without their hard work. So yeah, that Flamingo Island back there, that's the second largest hidden Mickey Walt Disney ever designed himself. We're now going to start transitioning over from the east part of the savannah and head into the west. There's some
I'm so cold.
Not to flex on the MK or anything, but the Harlem Wildlife Reserve is actually so large, we could fit 2 fully sized magic campers in here. We'd still have some time to move around. Alright, we are in cheetah territory. You can see one really close
Cheeto!
right there.
Cheetos! I would call them Cheetos.
You're funny.
Cheetah! Chi-chi-chi. Cheetah.
Es un leopardo. Un leopardo.
There's one back there. There's one back there.
Yeah, cheetahs are kind of masters of camouflage, so it's not always so easy to see them. I've never even seen one pose up on that rock.
Cheetah is so fast.
What you usually have to do is look for the lightest patch in the area. Kind of hope that it's
They run like faster like a
Cheetahs are the fastest land animals in the world. In just 3 seconds, a cheetah can get to 60 miles per hour. They can stay at that speed for a couple hundred yards. To put that into perspective, these trucks can get up to 8 miles per hour. And cheetahs are built for speed. They have long and sleek bodies. Their tails kind of work like the rudder of a boat. Helps them change direction when they are running so fast. Alright. Here we are, the Kobe Rocks. This is where the lions like to hang out when they're not resting, which they can do a lot. The average lion will actually sleep for 16 to 20 hours a day. But if you look on the left, you can already start seeing the mane of the male lion up on those rocks. He's just taking his nap, cat nap.
Look at that lion.
You'll see another female one over here with the lion.
Lion.
It's funny that you say he looks like Simba, because a really cool fact about that male lion right there, Sakari,
Simba!
that's his name, he was the model for Simba in the live-action Lion King.
Simba.
Yeah, so they came down here to study his
Simba's
behavioral
right
patterns,
there.
his actions, and his relationships with the other
Simba.
animals, to make Simba the most realistic lion he can be. Also on the
Simba.
right, you'll see some white rhino, including baby reindeer over
Simba.
there. Compared to those black rhinos we saw earlier,
Hi,
black rhino
Simba.
weighs about 5,000 pounds.
Hi.
And some really exciting news about the white rhino family. There's another baby who was just born 2 weeks ago, baby Milo. He's not big enough to be out of the reserve just yet. I'm hoping he will be in a couple months. If you do want to sneak peek at baby Milo, check out Disney Parks on Instagram. We have a video introducing him to the world.
What's that?
Now on the right side, you're going to see 2 water buck, and these eggs there, they were laid by an ostrich. You're keeping all your hands inside the vehicle.
That's the barrel. And there's
Alright,
a
here on
car.
the left is the warden's post. Lately, our warden and her staff have been taking care of the Nigerian dwarf goats, but they do have an earlier bedtime, so I think they're already asleep. To thank the warden for her care, the Nigerian dwarf goats have gifted her their sweet and delicious milk, and that can be drank or sold. And then in turn, the warden gave that milk to the villagers of Harambe, so they don't have to rely so much on the wildlife to help them with their goals. Or even when you're back at home, you can contact your local Department of Environmental Protection. Ask them about chapters of conservation groups that are in your area, how you can support them, and if you're really interested, how you can get involved in the great work that they're doing to make our planet a better place. Not only for us,